Information that Europeans keep stored online could be accessed by US law enforcement agencies. That's according to a report issued by one university in Amsterdam, which reveals the anti-terrorism Patriot Act gives Washington legal grounds to bypass Europe's privacy laws. And for more, I'm now joined live by one of the authors of the report, Axel Anbach. Axel, hello. So explain to us, how exactly does this work? How can this US law affect citizens in other countries?
Well, as soon as a company conducts systematic business in the United States, it has to comply with US laws. And that means that, United States authorities, under its laws, can request data that is stored in the cloud.
What do you make, then, of this US policy of extraterritorial laws in terms of international rights? Does anyone actually have to obey other countries' legislature?
Well, these companies do. And that's exactly where sort of the wide gap in legal protection is that we found in our report. So normally, in an offline world, you would have cooperation between governments that would respect international human rights standards. But as these companies in the cloud are often conducting systematic business in the United States, direct access is warranted.
We know the so-called cloud technologies were the focus of your research. Even governments might keep their data on servers in a cloud. So does this mean the US has in fact legalized espionage?
That's an interesting perspective. Well, law enforcement and intelligence agency access to data will exist anywhere in the world. What is so interesting here is that many of these companies, and certainly the market leaders, are very active in the United States. So under their laws, there is direct access, and many other places in the world, privacy standards, notably in Europe, are much stronger than in the United States. So that's where the real difference is.
And why are European countries so powerless in the face of the US when it comes to protecting their citizens' privacy?
Well, because these companies are conducting business in the United States, so there is direct access. So governments and businesses, NGOs and consumers will actually be falling under US laws, which is something in the online world that we will be. It's hard to realize that if you consider in the offline world, it's always bound by national boundaries.
Right. Let's focus now on the terrorists they're supposedly after. Would they really benefit from keeping their deadly plans in a cloud? Well, those who have an interest in data confidentiality, whether it's governments or terrorists or cyber criminals or whoever, will know that the cloud is a pretty insecure place with regard to data confidentiality. So I would assume that well-trained terrorists, for example, would not store their data in the cloud. So regarding the effectiveness, you can question that, yes. All right. So from your point of view, what's the best way to fix all that?
Well, all over the world, including in China and Russia and in Europe and in the United States, internet surveillance is increasing at quite breakneck speed. So a solution would be to at least try and come to some international standard of how do we solve all this and what does privacy mean. I know that this is a very ambitious goal, but as we all move into the internet and as it all becomes a part of our daily lives, free speech and privacy online is becoming ever more important.
All right, Axel Anbach from the Netherlands. Axel, many thanks indeed for sharing your views with us.